Hey crew, Mark Hatmaker here. I wanted to just show a very, very brief clip about something we discussed on ESP Raw number 214, which is the beginning of our black box project where we're giving it all away. No, we're not. You're paying for it, right? But what I mean by that is we're not giving anything away freebie anymore. Even things like this, I'm just teasing around the edges with small pieces of information. We go a good deal into, on this raw DVD and all the ones to follow in the Black Box Project, into what we're doing on the street side of, historical street side of the striking and the grappling and historical tomahawk. And we're getting deep in the weeds and the details. And one of the things we're talking about in 214 is begins our volume on street dentistry. And what is that? Our recent book, Boxing Like the Champs Round 2, I had a wealth of material on the boxing mob connection. Mafia mob connection. We know it's a long history of fixing fights, running the clubs, picking opponents so you can get the better odds on things. That sometimes the dives. We know a lot of that information, but there actually turns out there's a whole lot going on with who worked for the mob as well with enforcers. We mainly think of it, we hear the cliche about leg breakers, and like if you don't pay up, we're going to break your legs. But it turns out that was only used by unthinking partisans of thugs who weren't really in the standard mob, because you break a guy's leg you're breaking his leg to make an example. But if you didn't pay up, you're going to break your leg. And as an example, they say, oh, Charlie's in a wheelchair, I guess we should pay as well because I don't want that to happen to me. Of course you wouldn't, but the thing is, with Charlie's down in the wheelchair and crutches and he can't work, and he still can't pay, and you've really written off that investment. So there had to be a different way to do this. They were smarter, and that's where you started having guys who would make billboards, and billboards meaning you knock teeth out. So you weren't really leg breakers. Enforcers who were good at this were called dentists, and their job was to punish the body, things you can't really see as a billboard out there, but really, we all know what it takes, taking body shots, busting up ribs, and just really, peeing blood. That's one thing, and that'll stay with you as well. But it does not necessarily advertise to other people who, should I pay them or not? Am I scared of these guys? You were also, your job was to be effective about knocking teeth out with punches, and hence the boxing connection was often both. There was lots of Italian and Jewish fighters who were both owned a bit by some wise guys and also worked for them on the side. And there's a lot of information, really interesting information about here's the ring tactic, and here's the different tactic about what it is to be a street dentist. We go into a great amount of detail starting at 214. I'm talking a ton of detail. We're going to continue on with it. I'm going to give you one tiny thing, because we talk about the vital importance of running a horizontal fist versus a vertical fist on that volume. And I give you, and I just don't say it out of a dogma, I'm telling you, 100% of these street dentists say, oh, it's horizontal, 100%. They change the striking surface, they get rid of falling steps. Now, we give you, let's see, two wall tests, 3 push-up tests, 2 defensive tests, and stuff, so you can prove it for yourself. So it's just not theory. Well, I do it this way, and I do it. That's fine, whatever you want to do. But we actually give you some empirical tests that you can self-test for yourself, to self-experiment with yourself, to go, that kind of makes sense. But that said, I'm going to give you one that's not necessarily a test, just a concept called the crooked foil, to help you see the difference here. As the arm comes out, if I'm throwing a horizontal jab, which would mean palm down as it comes out, we're not talking about any mechanics, where the shoulder goes, what the hips are doing, what the chin is doing, or anything. We're just talking about as that arm comes out with the palm down position. I'll get a little bit closer in this. As this arm comes out in the palm down position, clearly there's going to be turnover as the fist goes to horizontal position. But I want you to watch the elbow as it comes out. Right now, we've got opening, and about halfway through, we see the elbow rises up. Why is this important? Because as the elbow rises up, this is already creating a foil position here. So we know if I'm close enough to hit, I'm close enough to be hit. So I'm wanting this chin, I'm wanting my jaw covered by my own shoulder. So I want my foil to start as soon as possible. Hence the turnover as this is coming out. So we know there's opening gap here, but I'm covered. And then as I'm throwing this out, I'm trying to keep that jaw covered as I go. Now I'm exaggerating the motions here a little bit. I'll give you that. But as I'm throwing out, so I get coverage on the chin, the chin being down. I'm covered here, and I'm covered about here, and my foil comes straight about midway through, meaning it's helping defend this line that's coming in across the outside of that jab. Is the vertical fist, take a look at this, same thing. If I'm throwing the vertical, I've got the bend, I got the bend, I got the bend. It's not till I'm like 3 or 4 inches away that I start getting closer to a foil position. And this is called, in the street dentistry parlance, it's a crooked foil, meaning it's something to be countered, it's something to come over the top of. Now, what we know in street, we're not expecting, yeah, smart counterpunching, but whether you take this to the ring, you're going to expect there to be some smart counterpunching, but also the street, your counterpunching is often just the fact of the melee and the chance shot that's coming in. So if you're throwing with good mechanics, removing a crooked foil, you're also, chances are, increasing your defensive coverage, which is exactly what we're looking for. Again, that's just one small aspect of why we're going horizontal over vertical. Give you tons of self-test in it, and change your to the street dentist punching surface. It's great for bare knuckle. Great for light MMA gloves. Anyway, tons of stuff on Raw 214 all the way down the line. That subscription service program, man, it's got some gold coming up on it.